Hello. I am very excited. The reason I'm very excited is because this is me maybe about 2 hours from now. It's new camera day, folks. So about 5 or 6 days ago, I went off online and I bought myself a brand new Sony a6600 body. To replace this camera, the Canon 250D, which I've been shooting on now for about just over 10 months. Now, whilst I'm very excited about my new camera, of course, this video isn't about the a6600. This video is about the 250D. Now this camera is like a budget DSLR. It came with a kit lens. I've never used anything else. It shoots 5 frames per second continuous shooting. It crops in at 4K, can't shoot any slow motion in 4K. There's a bunch of limitations to this camera, but that's not what this is about. This camera, 10.5 months ago, started me on my journey, my proper manual photography and videography journey. And I say manual because these things were in my pocket from, years ago, and I was using those beforehand. But owning a budget DSLR as my first camera was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made. And the reason for that isn't because of any of the specs that it has, or the fact that it's lightweight, or the fact that it's easy to shoot with and learn how to use cameras with. It's about the fact that it's a camera. It has manual functions and it does what I need it to do. Ultimately, this is my point. These are 5 photos I took in the first 2 months of owning this Canon 250D. And these are 5 photos I took in the last 2 months of owning the Canon 250D. There's no explanation required to see what this camera has enabled me to do. The improvement from the first 5 photos and the last 5 photos is just insane. And it's 10 months worth of photography and videography. And touching on videography, here's a video I shot with this camera in the first 2 or 3 months of owning it. And this is a quick clip of a video I made in the last month. Actually, it wasn't shot on this camera, but the idea is the same. I remember when I lost my mind. Now, even in just those 2 quick clips, you can see the improvement in my videography skills, my directing skills, and that's ultimately the move for me, is to do directing work, film directing. This camera just enabled me to have that access. My latest film project wasn't even shot on this camera, but if I had never bought this camera, I never would have been able to tell my cameraman, Chris, an insanely talented guy, I never would have been able to tell him that I want to shoot it in 50 frames, I don't want to shoot 4K, I want to shoot HLG. Those options aren't even available on this camera, or some of them aren't. But the point is that entering into the world of photography and videography through the ownership of a manual camera is just invaluable resource to me. If I hadn't owned this camera for the last 10.5 months, I wouldn't have done so many things. I've made friends with photography, I've been on cool trips with photography, I've learned an insanely vast amount of skills compared to where I was almost a year ago. At the time I got this camera, I think it was online for about £480–500, which is about $650 American. It's a cheap budget DSLR camera. But the price doesn't matter. It's completely priceless what it's brought me. Now I'm just getting to the point of where technical stuff, I'm actually hitting the limitations of this camera, and what a great place for me to be in. To not only just want a new camera, but to need one to progress. And I could progress. I could continue shooting with the 250D and I could progress and my photography could get better over the next 10 months as it has previously. But I'm starting to hit that ceiling of, I'm starting to miss shots because it only does 5 frames per second. I'm starting to look into color correction and getting better at it, and this camera doesn't have any flat profiles, so I need those. There's certain things that just at some point you hit a ceiling, and for me that was about 10 months after owning this camera. Welcome to our show! So I'm filming this on my iPhone because the 250D is boxed up upstairs, ready to go off to the seller. Not to the seller, I'm the seller. Ready to go off to the buyer tomorrow morning. It's an impressively small box, I will say that. My 250D box is like huge, but I suppose it is a DSLR versus a mirrorless camera. Documents. How to set the alpha strap. Angle this down slightly, you see, just a little bit more camera and a little bit less me. Battery, eyepiece, cup thing, charger, power converter, and the body. This is like whale skin stuff. And here she goes. Whoa. I have like 2 friends that have the A6400, and it's a great camera actually. For the price, it's an insanely good camera. Big thing for me was the grip size. This grip feels like so much nicer. The shutter button is slightly different, and the reason the grip's bigger is because the battery is bigger. Is there a battery in here? I'm not sure. Throw an SD card in there as well. Same screen, I believe. It flips up, which is quite useful. The dials are all real nice. I'm just very like mesmerized right now. The kit lens that you can buy from Sony, I believe with the 6600 is the 18-135, but that's like an insanely expensive lens. Because they updated the body, it didn't really make sense to go with the same lens, but I just got the 16-50. I think it's the entire APS-C mirrorless lineup that have the 16-50. You can buy these used for like insanely cheap for a lens that goes this wide as well. Okay, fits great. Tiny little lens cap, and that's it. That's the whole situation. It feels really, really nice in the hand. We're vlogging. Hello. This is, oh, okay. Whoa. Not bad. I'm not sure I'm gonna have much luck, to be honest, because, I mean, it looks like I'm dark as hell, but there is just that little bit of orange I can see, which tells me that the sun isn't fully set. And to be realistic, I think I have about 2 minutes to get in the right place. Wow, that is orange. Yeah, I think I have about probably 2 minutes maximum to get in the right place for this to actually work and get some sunset shots. I don't think I will, which is fine. I will be up bright and early for work tomorrow and college, so I'll catch some sunrise shots. This is the sunrise shot that I got with my 250D. So this shot right here looks pretty cool. So we're gonna see what we can make of that. This flip-up screen is like so handy, but we're at a spot with some light because I was pushing my ISO very high. We definitely missed that sunset. I was probably about 10 minutes late. I would have had to run about a mile to get in the right place for it, but it's cool. It's pretty much, it's pitch black now. Okay. It's home time. It's too cold. It's probably about, it's easily minus numbers now. But it's all right. We got something, maybe. I don't know, but it's like insanely foggy. I mean, you can't see anything.